I got a message from my sister the other day. She's a teacher, head of geography, and she messaged pretty casually something that honestly still is really bothering me. It said, a year 7 boy sent a dick pic to a year 6 because she sent a pic of her boobs and wanted to see his. Now the whole school has seen. It's just so obscene. I don't understand how kids can be so mean. I feel furious, frustrated, but even more, I feel completely confused as to how long this has been going on for. The landscape of sex feels like it's changed overnight, like somehow we blinked and missed day turned to night. And these changes aren't minute, they're moving mountains, glacial shifts, and somehow we've ended up with year 7s sending dick pics. I'm sure we all have stories we could tell. Boys and girls going through hell, weighed down by angst and shame, fear of the next rumour being their name, or walking the impossible line between slut and freak and just about fine. And fear, so much fear, of being bad or of getting it wrong, of not waiting enough or of waiting too long. The view's getting pretty grim, right? What went wrong? Thinking back to 99 with Backstreet Boys and Destiny's Child, they feel like the years of bliss, where the sex talks were simpler, essentially don't do anything but kiss. There were no smartphones, no Snapchat, no selfies, no WhatsApp, but in the middle of the medieval, the youth group was where it was at. And so the trusty old youth worker had the wonderful task of giving the sex talk and answering what was asked. It was simpler, tidier, it was what it was. It was black and white, it was simply because. But as we look wistfully back, that rose tint fades and we maybe start to see the cracks in the golden age. All the same variation of don't touch what you don't have, how far is too far, or just keep it in your pants. I vividly remember images of glued paper ripped apart, the boys talking sex while the girls talk heart. We speak to them about dirtiness and keeping clean, unseen, pristine, a smoke screen in reality. The girls were the safekeepers of the boys' sexuality. And if we dared talk porn or masturbation, it was how you don't, how to stop, how you won't, no hesitation. You know, our hearts were full of love, good intention, but we were asking the wrong questions. We weren't paying enough attention. So, we jump 20 years in time and we're in the same year, but we are not all in line. We've not moved at the same pace or to the same place, and so now the challenge we face is that we're on a totally different page. The church leader on earth, the young person in space, and our role as youth worker is to mediate with grace. We give our lives to see young people thrive. We stand between the them and the us, and we try and mend the divide. We're the bridge, the advocate, the champion, the translator, desperate to see young people know their creator. And so as we take time to take in the view, we start to see that it isn't all bad and it isn't all new. We're liberated by the internet and the freedom that brings, but we're weighed down by addiction, taking unhealthy things in. We're educated on equality of people and power, but outdated objectification of women still towers. We know that sexuality is far more beautiful and complex, but it still breaks and cripples and treats people like objects. Looking around, we don't all agree. There's difference between you and me in what we see. Our theology at the core stays the same as forever, of care, inclusion, love beyond measure. But it's in the finer details, the day-to-day. As youth workers in 2019, what do we think? What do we say? Is sex outside of marriage still wrong? Is being gay okay? Where are the boundaries online? What about foreplay? It's a lot to think about. And it can feel overwhelming, but to start is to take heart, is to take part, is to stand with God in the mess and still cry, how great thou art. We together say, I'm in, diving in, deep end, ready to mend the gap and meet young people where they're at. We admit that we're scared of getting it wrong, of hurting, damaging, or of misrepresenting Jesus for who he is. We don't all agree, and we won't all agree. But looking around this community, I see hope and light. because we're still here. And if we're here, then we've not given up the fight.